If you want to know how we build cloud architects, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Michael Gibbs and I'm the founder and CEO of Go Cloud Architects, and we're an organization dedicated towards building high-performance cloud computing careers. I've been working in technology for over 25 years, and I've been helping others get their first tech job or get promoted in tech for over 2 decades now. And today we're going to talk about how we build cloud architects at Go Cloud Architects. See, we have a process. Becoming a cloud architect is a fantastic career with near limitless career opportunity, and there are massive shortages of capable, qualified cloud computing professionals, especially cloud architects. Yet for new people, it's near impossible to get hired, but it doesn't have to be. Our students come with us, we train them, and in about 4 months, they're typically hired. So we're going to tell you how we do this. First and foremost, it begins with a plan. If you want to get to your destination, you have to know your starting point and your destination point, and all that becomes with a plan. So we help our students build the plan to go from where they're at now to where their goal is. And we have to take into consideration their past experience, their work experience, their life experience, whatever certifications they have, and their goal career. And we help them do that. And because we have been architects ourselves, we know how to guide people for cloud architect positions because it's jobs we've already had. As architects, we know how to guide architects. So that's part one, is the plan. But we've got to train the architects. So how do we do it? For us, we know that video on demand is helpful and it's part of the solution, but it's not the whole solution. You just can't become a professional by watching videos. So we have 2 live sessions per week, just like our real class, but we do it over Zoom. But we make these practical sessions. In fact, when we have these sessions, here's what we do. We have the students do a mock interview of an executive, just like they would in their real career. They will ask the business, the legal, the technical, the regulatory requirements, our goals. And then all of our students together will design a cloud solution. And that cloud solution, we want to solve business problems. Our students will design it from the requirements. They will design it for 2 possible clouds, and they will present it back to us just like a real cloud architect. So that's live training, and our students get at least 100 hours of that in our program of live training. Live training gives us an opportunity to evaluate our students, see their strengths and weaknesses, and make any corrections as necessary. So that's how we do what we do for the live instruction. That's part of it. The next part of it is we still do use pre-recorded videos, because even though we have live sessions on Mondays and Fridays, there's 5 other days during the week and times when we're not teaching, and we still want our students studying. So this is where we use pre-recorded videos. And videos alone provide a good opportunity to fill in the gaps. We work on business acumen, we work on cloud technologies, network technologies, all the things related to technical and non-technical skills our students may need. And we do these via on-demand videos, but videos alone aren't enough. You still have to put into action. You need that hands-on element. So we have our students do homework assignments and they submit them to us in our Slack group. And again, we provide feedback because we have to make sure that at all times our students are knowledgeable and they're doing things correctly. Because practice makes permanent, it does not make perfect. What if you've done the same thing wrong for 10 years? Guess what? You know how to do it wrong. So we want to make sure our students know exactly what to do. And with that, we give them assignments and they submit them to our Slack channel and we give them feedback. Feedback is a critical part of the process. And if you're watching videos as one of our students and you're lost, no worries. You just submit a request to the Slack channel and we will answer it. Either one of our students will answer it or we will, because we built a community to make sure that everyone gets through this process and learns everything they need to get cloud architect hired, because it's possible. So that gives us part of it. But you see, it's still not enough. You have to understand that the cloud architect is a cross between a business executive and an engineer. And because the cloud architect or the solutions architect is a customer-facing role, and part of those customers are going to be the C-level executives, meaning the CEO, the CIO, the CTO, the COO, CFO, that kind of thing. We teach our students how to be CXO relevant. Because if you can't get the requirements or the strategy from the CEO and the CFO and the CIO and the CTO, you're not going to know what they want. And if you don't know what they want, you can't design the system to them. And even if you could design the perfect solution, if you couldn't communicate the solution to the decision makers, they would never want the solution anyway. So that is a critical part of our training program, the business acumen. Now we also have to teach presentation skills, because as a cloud architect, you're going to be doing a lot of presentation skills. We have to teach a cloud architect writing skills because it's absolutely critical. How else could you do these things if you're not trained? These are not natural skills. These are business executive writing skills married with technical skills, so we teach that. Now we have to build competency. How do we build competency? We have to teach you the network and the data center, because the cloud is just a network and a data center that's been virtualized. And you're coming from the network and the data center to the cloud. So if you're going to meet with a client and ask them what are your systems that you want to take to the cloud and how we get them there, you have to know what they are. So this is where we really get heavy into technical competency. First and foremost, to make sure you've got hands-on experience, the kind of experience employers care about, we make you do a set of labs. Now, these are not basic labs. These are not e-course labs. These are network labs and data center labs. What are these labs? We have you work with server virtualization. That's infrastructure. That's the basic enabling technology of the cloud. Then we have you set up containers. That is the second computing platform on the cloud. Then we have you work with Linux machines, because it's the primary operating system on the cloud. Some of our students do some Cisco networking on our Cisco networking simulators. Our students build the Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP web stack, because it's extremely common. Our students build Linux firewalls, Linux VPN servers. They set up Windows Active Directory to learn IAM. Our students set up Samba shares, NFS shares. Our students learn it all. And then our students build a cloud. I mean it, a real cloud. Why do we build the cloud? Because after you build the cloud, you know the cloud and everything else is silly easy, but that's not the only reason. So we've got to perfect your resume, and resume review is part of our process. We teach you what should be on your resume, what shouldn't be on your resume, and the ways to get it viewed, as well as the ways the hiring manager likes it. So that's part of the process. But what is a hiring manager going to love to see on that resume? Experience. And what kind of experience are you going to have? All the things that employers care about: server virtualization, containers, Linux, firewalls, VPN. So you've got the security hardware in there, Active Directory for IAM, and you've built a cloud. So one of the things employers desire are highly motivated, highly enthusiastic people that are willing to go above and beyond. So when someone else has on their resume they set up an EC2 instance and you build a cloud, first, who do you think they hire? But who shows motivation, energy, and enthusiasm? Things that employers absolutely desire. So now you know most of the parts of our system, but now that you know the technical competency, and we've taught business acumen, we've taught presentation skills, we've taught leadership skills, we've taught architecture skills, which is the critical component, there's still more we need to do. We teach about 30 hours of AWS skills. And why do we focus on AWS skills? Look, it's the dominant cloud, so we want to make sure you've got some form of single vendor knowledge at some degree of depth. All of our students, by the time they're finished, complete a Certified Solution Architect Professional exam. We view that as kind of the minimum level for entry into the cloud world. It used to be the Certified Solution Architect Associate was enough. It is if you've got experience, but then again, if you've got experience, you don't need any certifications. But without experience, the Certified Solution Architect Professional, plus everything else we've talked about, is part of our package. So we make sure that our students get a lot of training there, as well as networking and security. And then after that, now it's getting ready to start working for your job. So what do? We spend a lot of time teaching you how to interview. Without the perfect interview, you might not be hired. So we make sure you interview. And we have to teach you to deliver the perfect interview, especially in your first cloud job. See, the reason this is so important and it's so much part of our system is when it's your first job, we need to make you look better than the competition. See, when we evaluate people as hiring managers, it's not 100% this person's worked 20 years. It's 50% of their score when we evaluate them is related to their technical competency, and 50% is related to soft skills, emotional intelligence, empathy, enthusiasm, attitude, that kind of thing. So we work to get a 50 out of 50 there. So then we can get maybe a 35 or a 40 out of 50 on technical competency. That gives us an 85 to 90, which blows away the competition and makes it easy for our people to get hired. It makes you more desirable, which makes you get hired. It makes you more desirable so employers are willing to look over gaps in expertise. It makes you more desirable, which equals a higher salary because people want you more, they're willing to pay you more. Now, the last part of our process is to teach you how to negotiate a higher salary. See, negotiation is pretty important in business. And as a cloud architect, you're going to be negotiating deals too. Why not learn how to negotiate a higher salary? So we give you a lot of information on how to negotiate a higher salary, because we need to teach you negotiation because it's a critical cloud architect skill. Now, I hope you've understood what goes into our Cloud Architect Career Development Program, or how we train cloud architects. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.